spoke, bro. We don't.
We went there.
We don't even have enough time to answer that in honest step.
Mm.
I'm a Rubik's cube. You
Mm.
know, I am an assortment of everything I've ever taken into my life. I'm my older brother. I'm my neighborhood. I'm my religion, my culture. I'm I'm overcoming,
Mm.
perseverance. Um, I'm an assortment of things.
Mm.
But when I break it down, I'm always growing. So I'm a learner. I'm a grower. I adapt, and I stay true to my grounding. So that's who I am. I try my best to stay tapped in to those things that keep me stable.
Mm.
And
I love that.
so that's who I am.
I don't.
I'm
That
all of those things.
that's beautiful, man. And I mean, I known you now since I knew you before I even knew you, if that makes sense. I don't know if you remember the story. I shared this with my wife because we had a great conversation like a month ago. We were just recapping life and stuff like that. And there's who's that he was talking to? And then I had to break it down to her. And then she said, "How did you guys meet?" And then I was like, "Well, we didn't." I felt like our spirits met, but I felt like I met him first where he didn't even know I met him because until this day, I told her that I went to go see a wrestling match with my sister at in Madison Square Garden, and I was on the platform, and I remember seeing you, and I think it was his sister and somebody else. It was like three of you, but I just remember seeing you. There was just something about you. You had like a leather jacket, and you was on the platform. I don't know what it was. It was just something about you that could like gravitated towards me, or like and left the imprint in my brain. And it wasn't like, damn, he looked good. It was just like, I don't know, just something about this dude, right? And so then cut to months later, school starts for high school,
Yeah.
and I'm going up the steps, and you're in front of me, but I didn't know it was you at the time. And then a CD falls out of your bag.
I remember.
And now that you remember, right? It's a CD
Yeah.
falls out of your bag and you didn't know. And I picked it up. I said, yo, you dropped it. And I saw it was Prince. And I was excited, right? First of all, let's paint the scene. We're both from the hood, so we're from the hood. We're not supposed to have Prince or anything like that.
You gotta have gangster rap.
Yeah, gangster rap. Yeah.
It should have been crack that fell out my bag.
Exactly. Yeah. First of all, you should never had that in your bag, period. Nothing. Yeah, especially Prince. It
should have been drug money, blood money.
Yeah. Yep. I pick it up. I was so excited. I was like, yo, you dropped your thing. I was like, yo, you love Prince? Like, I love Prince. You look, and of course, we're from the hood. You're like you look at him like, if you don't try to play me right now, I'll smack shit at you. But all you said was, yeah, I like Prince. Yeah, whatever. Like, just brushing me off. Like, no. And I had to like earn
my trust.
Your trust. Like, no, I love Prince. Like, doves cry. Like, here we are. How can't you just leave it standing? Like we was and we did like, and you like, oh, so you do like Prince? I was like, yeah, I do. And that's where our relationship started, from a Prince CD. And then as we continue to get to know each other, I told you about that day that on the platform. I was like, oh snap, yeah, I went to go see a wrestling match with my family.
I was going too.
And you was going too, and we both taking the same train, the 3 train, to go back home because the thing was done. But I say that to say that meeting you has changed my life in a positive way, because from there on, we became two peas in the pod, just, listening to music, getting into, you was already into rock. I was getting more into it. You playing guitar, and you was just like, this, I think we're around the same age, or you're a little older. But you just became, I felt like you just became, in that moment of my life and down the road, you just became like this cool older brother that was like, yo,
wow,
that like, this guy plays guitar. I always wanted to play guitar. Like, this guy's listening to this type of music. Like, I have another, person that I can share this with. And then, Carlos in the mix too. And they got Carlos.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, yo, we're both in the hood.
Shout out to the Los.
Yeah. And I was just like, yo, like, I found someone who's similar like me in the same environment. And I think that was so powerful and something that I needed, and it was very beneficial to my growth in those years too. And as I continue on, So yeah, enough about that because we're gonna get more into these influences and stuff like that. So I guess I just wanted to know, and you probably shared this when we was 13 or 14, like how did you get into uh rock music, listening to Prince, listening to James Brown, because like I said, we grew up in this tough neighborhood where you didn't really have to listen to rap, but that was the only thing that was pumping out the speakers, right? And we
Yeah,
had nothing
yeah.
against rap. We love rap music, but we knew that there was something more out there than just that. So where did that taste for music come from you?
Well, my love for music comes from my mother. My mother was the driving force for my appetite for music. Now, my mother didn't love jazz. She didn't like music without words. She liked things she can feel. So James Brown, all that stuff, like even Cab Calloway, those kind of songs, hidey, hidey, hidey,
Mm,
hi, all that emotional drive and the passion. She loved that kind of stuff. So we would go to like the South Street Seaport, which is my favorite place in the city, and watch
mm,
all the free concerts, the OJs, Charlie Wilson,
mm.
the Isley Brothers. We used to go and see all them
Wow, for
concerts for
free?
free.
Wow.
Yeah, and in the park and meet all these different type of people. So I love that music. She even had a friend one time. This is way when I was older in high
Yeah.
school. Took me to Ashford and Simpson's club on 72nd Street called the Sugar Bowl,
Mm,
and I actually got to play guitar with Maceo from
mm.
James Brown's band. It was one
Yeah.
of the passionate things. So my love for music came from my mom. Also come from the church. You
Yeah.
know, we a lot of singing and hand clapping and organ and
Mm,
bass guitar and drums. And I just started listening to different music. And so like for rock music, it just happened. My best friend, Daniel Ortiz at the time, he was into rock music and he introduced me to Disturbed, the
mm-hmm.
band.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I like this. Then it was Papa Roach. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, snap. Papa
Mm-hmm.
Roach is popping
Yeah.
and System of a Down and then
Metallica.
oh yeah, Metallica,
That
most
was our shit.
definitely. And James Hetfield.
Yeah.
And so that just burned my passion. And I was um, you know, my love for music came from my mom and those kind of things, but then trying to learn music was something that I struggled with, and because I know how to get it out of my head and play it,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was always being taught, oh, learn how to read music,
Yeah.
you know,
We had the
play
same.
play
Yep.
with play with your heart
Mm-hmm.
and fighting. And so, I never really got until I got to high school. I never knew what the musical alphabet was or how to read music. And
Mm-hmm.
so I picked up a guitar in my friend's apartment. They had it behind the couch. And I was just like plucking it. They didn't have all the strings, and I was just plucking it. And his father was like, Camilo, his dad was like, "Hey, man, you want it?" I'm like, "Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I'll take it." And I only had like four strings, but I
Wow.
was I was rocking that thing till the wheels fell off.
Mm.
And my brother, Andre,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
he saw me take a light to it. Well, way before that, we had a neighbor, Miss Lucille. She had an old organ in her house,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of one of those things. My mother was like, "I don't know what you're gonna do with that damn thing,"
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and so but she gave it to me, and I was so excited,
Wow.
because I'm a creative person, so it was like something that made me be in another world. I could forget
Mm-hmm.
about school because I didn't like school.
Mm-hmm.
I was like not the middle child, but I wasn't the baby anymore. I was had
Mm-hmm.
two little sisters, so this organ, this thing was like my thing.
Mm.
But my mother got rid of it, man. It just
Mm.
like I came home one day from school, it was gone.
Damn.
And then when I asked her about it, she was like, "It was in my way."
A typical mother response.
Yeah, and it's like in your way, but it was in my room behind the door. She was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I needed the space for what?" You know. But
Oh
but
man.
yeah, so
How how
that blew my mind. That kind of just poof,
how
you know.
was how was that when now you're being introduced to musical instruments? What did you learn about yourself in those moments? How important was that for you to like now be a fan of music, but now looking at yourself like, oh shit, I'm actually holding these instruments. Because I know for me, the
It
guitar
was
was like
crazy.
my best to this day is my best friend. Like I always say, like it will always be by my side. And the reason why, if it's not by my side, is because I'm not near it. But whenever I want to pick it up, it's there. So how was
Yeah.
that relationship with you and musical instruments, and even let's go with the guitar, because that was like the first thing that came to you.
Well, the guitar for me, it was it's like the guitar for me is like a ex-girlfriend that
Mm.
you can't get rid of.
Mm.
You know, she don't want you with nobody else, but you got to move on a little
Mm.
bit. And she's right there, but she don't
Yeah.
care if you're married. She just love you. You know what I'm saying? Like she's right there,
Yeah.
and she's like, I don't care. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you going
Yeah.
to pick me up later. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, do it. It may be Valentine's Day for you now, but
Yeah.
tomorrow you're gonna be playing me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that kind of thing because I love the guitar, but I fell in love with the piano,
Mm.
and so my my
So
guitar will
piano was the first love.
no.
Oh, okay.
No, the guitar was the first love. I will
Ah,
always
okay.
love the guitar. You know, a lot of my melodies are guitar melodies
Mm-hmm.
that I play, but I fell in love with the piano because I began to be creative. It freed my hands, and I made more correlation with speaking when I can play. I can't really play when I play. I can't really sing or open my mouth really good when I'm playing the guitar. I'm so focused on my
Yeah.
fingers. But when I'm on the piano, I can, let the chords ring out a little bit extra and holler
Mm.
something or whatever. And it's more, I'm feeling the notes. It just feels so much more fun.
Mm.
Um, but I just felt when I started touching instruments for the first time, it was, I get to create something like
Mm.
something from my mind gets to come out. And it may not be correct because I remember in high school, we had the music teacher. She didn't like that I was just like so passionate and didn't want to learn the chart and this kind of going on. But the male teacher, he allowed me to like express this
Mm.
like I didn't know what to call it. I thought it was jazz. He was like, well,
Yeah.
it's not quite jazz. This
Mm-hmm.
is something else, This is free play or freestyling. And it was so much fun. I didn't care. I
Mm-hmm.
was just getting sounds out and boom, boom,
Mm-hmm.
I was happy, it was so much
Mm.
fun. And so it just was like for me, touching them was a way that I can express myself when I couldn't speak.
Yeah.
When I didn't find the words or my emotions weren't, I didn't know how to really put my emotions into my words. I can put it into the music or the sounds
Mm.
that I were hearing, and it would free me. You
How
know,
important was that for you to find that outlet? Like, what did it help
oh,
you with?
if I didn't have it, if I didn't have, I tell everybody this everywhere. If I didn't have music in high school, I would have never finished high school.
Mm.
If I didn't have music, choir, singing, playing, if I didn't have Bloody Soul and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
if I didn't have that stuff, I would have had no passion to finish high school
yeah.
or to do anything because like you said, we are from Brooklyn, New York,
Mm-hmm.
Brownsville.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing there for somebody that doesn't fit into certain groups or categories.
Yep.
So, what music allowed me to do is to find my people,
Mm-hmm. And find your
find
way.
people, yeah, find people that think like me, feel like me, act like me, and kind of cover me in my vulnerability to
Mm-hmm.
be my genuine self.
Yeah.
Wear my spikes through my hat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You was to me, you was like, when I think of you and I have to describe you to someone, I just automatically, the word rebel comes to mind. And it's not even rebel in a bad way. It's rebel in a sense of finding your way and being true to yourself and not
Yeah,
following everybody else's path. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be like in the train with you going to like jam with some Indian dude in Queens and a drone. Like, how did you meet? Online? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like before
you know,
motherfuckers were getting raped and killed, like out there, like on the news, like that could have been us. But
yo,
you used to be like, Rick, we're from the fucking hood, bro. Like, ain't nothing. And we'll bring Carlos. First of all,
yeah,
it's a tall Spanish
because
dude, a one
a
that looks like a
white
Jew, a white as hell, And then a black
We're
person that
safe.
doesn't
We're
look like
safe.
a black person to say, well, he got
Yeah,
spikes. He will
yeah,
wear
we're
the
safe.
you always says like, who's fucking with us?
We're
Like, look,
safe.
bro, nothing's going to happen. Like, they should be more afraid of us because
Yes,
we're not aligned right now. We're not aligned. We're not
no.
coordinating.
No, we don't look like what we're supposed to. I don't look like a typical
Yeah,
Negro.
yeah,
You're not the typical Hispanic.
yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
tatted up with the
Yeah.
teardrops.
And Carlos, we don't even know what Carlos is.
Carlos looks like an accountant. He's he's taking figures. He's not. He's bird watching. You don't know what he's doing.
Yeah. He's the lawyer of the group. It was like,
And then we had, and if it was a really good day, we had Dino, and we found him.
Yeah,
like we found him, was helping him out. So it was like, nobody was nobody was harassing us.
Yeah. Look, man, I remember, it was you that, I wanted the guitar and I was going to get it, but it was you that was like, that gave me that push. Yeah, you should get it, and I'll teach you. Like, you was that guy that like, okay, I don't know how to play guitar, but I'll find a way, and you was the guy who was like, Rick, you want to sing? Well, find a way. Like, fine, just do it. You was always that person. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And yeah, whatever you feel like, we'll laugh about it and we'll crack jokes. Was like, well, just do it. You and Carlos was the guy that like, because my mom sheltered me, but I knew there was more of a world out there that I was going to explore eventually. But you guys like broke that wall for me. It was like, well, now I have these people to go with, and you was that guy that had a job in your teenager years. Like, you did all these things. You had a car, you had girlfriends, and me and Carlos were like looking from the outside, like, we want to do that too. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, well, we could start it down the road, but Greg's doing it. That's how so it's like, fucking Greg's doing it. We can fucking do it now. And like, we just started through your ways of being you was the dude that introduced me, that took me and Carlos illegally, because we all was underage, to a comedy club at night, 1 a.m. First of all, we was like, Greg's taking out on a date. Where you getting his money from? Don't worry about that. We're like 17. You always had this old soul. Like, you was 17, but like mentally you was already like 30, 40 years old. He was like, Greg, where you getting all this money from? Hey, don't be worried about where I make the money. Just know I make it. It was like, well, what are you doing? You selling drugs? We was like, you selling drugs, Greg? I was like, no. I'm doing it legally. I'm a working man. It was like, you guys want to go out? You guys want to go out? What? And then we went to a comedy club, and to this day, that was one of the stepping stones of me seeing comedy live. And I remember, you looking at me in the comedy club, was like, you see, Rick, you could do it. You funny. I've been telling you, funny. You could do this shit too, right? Just putting anything that I had an interest in, you was the guy that pushed me. And then, and even just to go after, because I remember even that day too, the Rachel's cream, and it's obvious that we're fucking underage. We didn't even have facial hair. Carlos probably still was growing hair his nuts at the time. Like, he probably didn't have pubic hair yet. The waitress was like, so you gentlemen want something to drink? And I was like, I'll take a Pepsi. You was like, I'll take a Corona. And Carlos went about, make that 2. And then you looked at me, but I was like, what are you, a bitch? What are you, a Pepsi? Out of all them, you can drink Pepsi all the time, but all nights we're outside, we're living life, we're in Times Square. And I was so scared. And she came and gave us the fucking, you guys had like 2 rounds of beers and stuff like that. And I just like, I think it was one of the best times of my life. Just like, man, like, I guess I was supposed to experience this later on, but I felt like I was getting away with something. But I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And I'm doing it with my friends, and we all experience this together. But it was like a moment in my head that, like, to this day was one of the huge stepping stones to be like, I'm getting these messages. And you was this guy that provided those confirmations, like, yeah, go after it, do it. So I say that to say, what was this about this rebel instinct that you had in you? Because there at that time, and I think there's not a lot of people that had that, like what you were for me. I don't think you had that, or I could be wrong, for yourself in a sense prior to us, but you made it your business to be that to yourself. Like, you made it your business. Like, yeah, I may have fears, but I'm gonna learn how to play guitar. I may have fears, but I'm gonna go do what's kept you to become that person, be this rebel.
Well, see, the I can be like this guy, like, oh yeah, I'm so cool. No, bro. I am afraid 99% of the time.
Mm.
I'm uncertain 99% of the time. You know what I'm saying? But I know what I have is nothing.
Mm.
And nothing from nothing leaves nothing. If I sit here, I have nothing. But if I go, I don't know what I'll get.
Mm.
It gotta be more than nothing.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And I've seen, my sister, she's like one of my biggest champions. She doesn't let anything stop her. She doesn't walk like me and you. She has cerebral palsy. She's hopping on trains, going and going. What is my excuse?
Mm.
You know, I see my aunt, she's moved from New York, Jersey, entrepreneur, opened a business, opened a catering truck, opened a, food truck catering business. What is my excuse not to try? So yeah, I was babysitting, I think, around that time. And then I got like a little job in one of the factories back there, like just running packages from back to forth to a different factory in the back of East New York.
Mm.
I'll do that, yeah. And let's go have some fun. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because I feel like I'm blessed to have the same friends from my childhood all the way to now. Like I have new people I talk to, but it's
Yeah.
nobody like, hey, you know what I'm saying? When I think about the things that I accomplished and the things that I hold dear, I think about moments like that. You just talk
Mm-hmm.
about going to the comedy club, or when we would just go to West Fort to go play in Guitar Center because
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to go look at the latest
Yeah, we
guitar, look
couldn't
at the
afford
latest.
we couldn't afford those expensive ass guitars, you know?
No, we want to get a wop wop pedal and just
Yeah.
go hang out and get some fries. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We got 20. I remember you told me, hey Greg, listen, I don't have money, but you need a good $20. I got you. I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
I tell people to this day, I said, listen, if I need $20, I know who to call.
Yeah.
I got a guy.
Yeah, I remember you was always it's funny that you said that. I never saw fear in you, but it's funny that you had the fear inside, but it's beautiful that it didn't stop you, because something as simple as like, I don't really have much, but I got $20, and you say, all right, we'll make it work. We'll
I
make it
mean,
work.
because look,
And you
okay.
had that deep voice at that age. Like that's one thing you have not that deep. You had that at 12, 13, while me and Carl was like, Greg, I don't think he's gonna make it work. All right, we're gonna make it work.
Listen, Des, me and Des,
Mm-hmm.
we roll like that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's how we go. You know what I'm saying? If I got $20, we got $20.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna make that $20 do what it do for the
Mm-hmm.
time we're trying to have. And
Mm-hmm.
if we are, and you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when at the time I didn't know this, I learned it now. But like when you speak to, in your situations and you're like, oh, I only got $20,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of like putting this negative condensation on it, it's like, well, you just told your whole body that's all you got. So that's all you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have. But if you be like, I got $20, let's just go ahead, like let's just go. You don't know what you'll pick up along the way. You may meet somebody, you do something nice there, and before you know, you'd have had a whole free night or a free
Yeah.
day because you bumped into the right stranger, or you made the
Yeah.
right moves.
I learned too,
So
man. Like,
just go
just
for it.
thinking back now, man, that like we didn't need much, and in general, people don't need much to have a good time, you
No,
know. And we all our all we was broke. We really didn't have money like that. Like, but all we had was our friendship, and all we had was our instruments and jokes
don't.
nonstop, jokes
Woo!
nonstop. That's what
Don't care.
just
And that's
survived.
and that's what gave you a thick skin because listen, these are people that you confiding in, and they're gonna rig you. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna rip you a new one.
Mm-hmm.
No,
You
listen, no
yeah,
matter who you was,
yeah. And
you're
you
gonna
was
get it.
also that dude, man, that always reinvented himself. There was always a trick up your sleeve. Like, one day you'll come randomly with a bass. He's like, yeah, I play bass now. I'm learning it. And I was like, where do you get this bass from? I was like, good friend of mine's found it. So it's like,
That's true.
what?
That's true story.
Carlos he was like, Carlos, you should play drums. He's like, where am I gonna find a drum set? He was like, give me a week, I'll figure it out.
I only
Week
got a
later,
snare. I only got a snare and a hi hat. Didn't work.
you came. He came. He was like, he called us like, Where you at? I was like, I'm at Carl's house. I'll be there in 5 minutes. And then I said, all right, we'll meet at my house and we're gonna be there. Come in, say hi to my mom, hi, Miss Anna. And it came in, and we're like, where the fuck you got this snare? What the fuck we gonna do to it? He said, you want to play drums? This is the bus. This is all I can find. We're gonna make it work. He said, you gotta start somewhere. We're gonna make it work. So, and then also like your fashion. You didn't wear these baggy clothes like how we was wearing. You was wearing Durango boots. Your
I still
jeans was
got my Durango.
your jeans were cut up, put holes in them. You know, your
My
hat all the way
baseball
low,
cap.
baseball cap, shades. You know, saying like, oh my god, it's like to this day to have that confidence or even have that will to be different is so refreshing and was so rare to see, and it was so beautiful to see. You know, how did that shape you to who you are? Your environment, you just dressing different, you just not wanting to be part of everybody's way of like, this is how you should be, Greg, and you're like, no, this is
Yeah.
how I want to be.
Well,
How did you find your voice?
well, as a kid, I was into martial arts. So like my brother, my cousins, all like the guys in the family did martial arts. And so when I would see my brother and my cousin, they would get fly, they put on Durangos.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They got nice fitted jeans. You know, it wasn't baggy. They put a belt on, nice
Mm-hmm.
button-up shirt. The cuff was nice at the boot.
Mm-hmm.
Looked nice. I like that. And then my good friend when I was growing up, his brother Alex, I wasn't at the time I was into working out. I was nice. So he used to wear the hat like that. And I
Mm-hmm.
would say, hey, why don't you bend it like this? And he would say, that's when you play baseball, they do
Yeah.
that. I said, well, I like it like that. So
Yeah.
I put my hat like that, put up a little thing. I got my own little, style. I put it and put mix
Mm.
and match my button ups,
And it was
over.
great is that by you doing that, being who you are, you would think like it just it was you. It was no gimmick. And it didn't stop you from being a ladies' man. Where you were people would still crack jokes on you, but you would crack the jokes back. It's like, yeah, I know I'm all this, but guess what? You know, this, and that. But it wouldn't stop you from talking to a lady, because
Yeah.
you didn't fit into what she sees every day. And I'm like, yo, I'm just like on the outside, I'm like, you know what? Like, I he's giving me like fuel to find who and what I am too. And that's when I started like, I don't need to wear these 4XTs. I'm gonna start wearing these rock shirts that I want to wear, and I'm gonna wear my
Yeah.
size, an extra large or large, not a
Yeah, man.
4X, you know.
Listen, bro, as much as you think I was an influence to you, you were an influence to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, I love baseball. Most most cats in the hood, they like football, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball was my thing. So when we got to play baseball, I was like, first of all, that's what I grew up playing as a kid. I was part of
Mm-hmm.
the East New York Power
Yeah.
League. We used to play baseball, Brooklyn Dodgers. And when that was over, was no more baseball teams.
Mm-hmm.
So who am I playing baseball with? They want
Yeah.
to play football. They want to play basketball. Get out of here
Yeah.
with that baseball.
Yeah.
The handball, that was the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I love that
Yeah.
handball. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was doing that. Me, Lisa, Amel, Toya, we played, but it wasn't a thing like over there in East New York. Cats was playing suicide with the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
handball. You know what I'm
Booties
saying?
up.
Yeah, that's it. That's the closest you was getting to a handball game.
Yeah.
So like having a friendship with you and having
Yeah.
that connection kind of gave me a space to be more daring to open up and expose myself in areas that
Mm.
I normally would not have to
Yeah.
was able to do because
Mm.
I had a people, I had a tribe, and we made that.
Yeah. How not I mean not having a did you have I don't think you had a father growing up, correct?
No.
I think that was something that we shared, in common,
Yeah.
like
Daddy wasn't there to take me
yeah,
to the fair.
yeah, exactly. how, how I mean, I think from the outside it looked like it didn't affect you, but as you got over, was that something that affected you, not having a male presence from a father side not there? And
Oh,
what did the music help with that? Did your being creative help with that? How did you cope with that?
music helped with that. Being creative helped with that. Working out. going to play pool, like being active,
Mm,
being active really helped with that. And then also, really, really, truly, my brother, man, he's
mm,
was my dad. You know what I'm saying? He was like you know, to this day, I still have a problem even thinking of my brother as like human. It's a kind of a bad thing.
yeah.
You know, like to me, he's like I don't like, invincible. He's like Superman,
Yeah.
Batman. He's like, but when we have real conversations, he's like, Gregory, I'm just a human being.
Yeah.
But in my when I think of him in my mind, I think I revert back to being six.
Mm,
It's a very hard thing for me to even not consider his feelings, because that's what conversation we was having about it.
yeah.
Not considering his feelings, but revering him in that manner. You know, so I owe a lot of the way I think,
Mm,
the way I move to my brother, because I watched him growing up. He did not allow society, to tell him he couldn't wear boots. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? That's why I love boots. I love my Durangos. I have a pair now. I wear them to work every day. I just
what
I
was
got
what was some important lessons that you learned from your brother that shaped you to be who you are today, or even during that time growing up in hood?
well. Lesson number one is this: where the head go, the body follow.
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying? And that don't mean, we look at it physically, yes, but where you're thinking, what you think is what you say, is what you receive.
mm,
These are the things that I've learned, and I build upon more as I've gotten older to teach my son. And actually, I don't know if you know, but I have another son
yes, yes, congrats.
coming in May. So these are the things that I learned from him. Being a man of your word, trying to have much as integrity as you can, because sometimes the plans change.
Yeah.
You may have a plan, and you may, with all intent, have these things straightened out, but something may happen, and it's okay to say, this is what I plan to do, but this is what I must do so I can get eventually to that. You
Yeah.
know, so to speak to the part of you saying, I always reinvented myself, because I gave myself room to make mistakes,
Mm,
and not care, more so more so now than then. Then I would kill myself, thinking over and over how I made a mistake, how I look, this person think, but I would
mm,
still have to, I had no choice but to try to keep moving.
mm,
Now I've gotten older, and I don't care, if you don't like me,
mm,
or what you think, doesn't matter, absolutely doesn't matter.
mm.
I don't, think 1 ounce of somebody
Yeah.
saying, oh, why did he say that? Why do you think like that? I'm out of here. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Because as you get older and you have a better understanding, you can't live for the perspective of people. So these are some of the biggest lessons. Lesson number one is like the lesson,
yeah.
where your head goes, your body will follow. So what you think is what you say, is what you receive. So you gotta watch your words. What you say
Mm,
about yourself, what you think about yourself is the things you will receive about yourself.
mm. Where with the music, like it was always something that was always a part of you. When did you, I guess, wanted to take it almost serious enough? Because and at one point we had these things, we're like, this is what's going to get us out the hood, and we're young, not to say that
Yeah,
we're naive, because it was a possibility, but it didn't plan out that way, but we knew it
yeah.
became something that we were always going to love. When did that start to set in for you, where like, well, I'm not going to be the biggest rock star? That was at one point, and I think, but I still want to do this, because at the end of the day, it's for me. Like, when did that reality set in, and how did you receive it? Because a lot of people, they think, if anything, they'll do something, it's like, then I got to make all this money, I got to do all this. When did that settle in for you? It's like, what, this is actually for me, the love for me, and not so much about the glitz and glamour.
Well, about 4 years ago, honestly, not necessarily about music, but in life.
Mm,
Um, because I still take my music very seriously. I still have passions and things that I'm recording now.
mm,
Um, but I've come to the realization to realize, like, I don't need to be the next, Warren Buffett.
yeah.
I don't need $1 quadrillion. I just need not to worry about my bills.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be comfortable. I need to be able to say, you know what, if I want to take a vacation, I'm not scraping and have to,
Yeah.
work another 60 hours.
Yeah.
So the putting things in priority, really setting realistic goals and setting your mindset onto things that really matter.
Yeah.
I come to realize, like, about 4 years ago, like, these things, will happen genuinely if you just let it happen. The
Yeah.
more you try to force it, or, try to angle yourself, or try to position yourself to look like something you're not, spending a lot of money on clothes or suits or these
Yeah.
different things to put up a persona, and you're really struggling just to try to get a break onto something. It
Yeah.
doesn't help you. You know what I mean? It may
Yeah.
get you a few likes or looks, and next thing you know, within 3 or 6 months, you're right back at square one, trying to ante up the next thing for a photo shoot or a headshot
Yeah.
or some crazy crap.
Yep.
And you just keep throwing money into a wormhole. Then you meet some shady character that's like, yo, kid, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you're meeting him in the
Yeah.
storage container or some crap, and you're just wasting time instead of really putting yourself on the channels and avenues and becoming more self-aware, and like kind of like cleaning up all those things inside to find inner peace and inner joy, and actually living in what you're doing. I was just having this conversation with my wife about that. Like, oh, my sister was here for my birthday, and I was like, you need to take pictures. And I'm like, I get it. We want to take pictures, have memories, and I'm all for that. But I've learned to try my best to focus in what I'm doing right now so I can fully enjoy it. Because if I stop,
Mm.
take a picture, or put up
The
a
same. The
Snapchat
same.
or kind of thing, I'm living through the lens of what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm glad you shared that, bro.
And
We're
I'm not
just we're so similar.
and I'm not focused on what take place. I may miss that one joke, something that would trigger my brain. I may miss the whatever. I may,
Yeah.
just because and I'm not saying it's not good to take pictures or not good to do
There's a
video.
time and place for it.
I'm just saying sometimes you want to zero in it, and
I mean,
and
all this memories that we have, there was no phones involved.
no,
We
not
have
at
it
all.
here. And I'm
Yeah,
like, I rather if down the road, God forbid that I start losing my memory, I'd rather let that go naturally rather than have a look at a phone like, remember when you did this? And I'm like, I don't remember that either. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, it's more sad.
yeah,
It's more
yeah,
sad.
yeah, exactly. It's like I'd rather be in the moment and be present too. And I'll take the pictures later, but what we're creating in this moment shouldn't be a picture moment just because
Right.
it's a picture moment.
Yeah,
Let's
like
do it later.
and I learned that from my wife too. She has this thing where she's like, yo, babe, I don't need to post it on Facebook. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to take a picture, and just post it. I could take a picture and have it in my phone, put it in a photo album, whatever. But I don't need to slam it on Instagram. Look at my thing, and I people do it all the time. We go out to eat
Yeah,
and say,
yeah.
wait before you touch the food. And it's like, I
Yep.
just want to eat my waffles, bro. And I don't want to have
um
food porn. I just want to eat my waffles.
and also I think what's so beautiful about too is like you're very humble and like you're not afraid to get your hands dirty. And what I mean by that is that if you got to go pick up a mop to go mop and work, you will do that because you got to do what you got to do to survive. Even if you
One
had
hundred
all the
percent.
money in the world, you was always that type of person that I got to do what I got to do. And like you was so humble to do it. And even when you did, at times when we was young, we was making this money, we was broke. We only had allowance, it was like $20 a week, but you had a job. You shared that with your friends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If you had it, like they had it too, and stuff like that.
because
And I thought that
I
was so
learned
great.
I learned that community. You know what I'm saying? Like, from a very young age, I always want to create the family that I want.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Sometimes you have blood relatives and they're your family, but just because you share blood with somebody doesn't actually make them your family. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can create a friendship and that's like a bond like no
yeah,
other. So I always wanted to have that. Even like when I moved over there on New Jersey Avenue, that was the energy I wanted. I
yeah.
didn't care. I would go to work, I would come back, people would be hanging out. I love that. You know
Mm,
what I mean? I love that atmosphere. I love the unity. I love the community. If I got a dollar, you got a dollar. If I put $2, you could put $2. We
yeah.
all pitch in, we all eat.
Mm,
But when you get that mentality, me and mine's and only me, you start spiraling down so quickly. And I didn't. My mother wasn't like that.
mm,
My mother would let family come and live and stay and cook and eat. She would give people. I seen her do it. So
mm.
I kind of, you just kind of imitate what you see, and you kind of put it on a bigger scale, and you have a different kind of heart, and do what you feel is right. You know, my cousin was this is the same way.
Yeah.
You know, we lock in and we build. You know, try to
What
do
was
the best you can.
what was your motivation to get out the hood? Because we're both from this environment, that when you come back, the same people that's on the block, and there,
Yeah.
and there's
Oh,
and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good that we learn, a lot of good people there, and there's also just anything. There's a yin and a yang. There's also a lot of bad that's around there, but I feel like we both individually had our own motivation to know that there's more than life than this, and that we don't want to be here forever. We want to get out. What was your motivation to not stir in the path that you could have wrongly go to the other side, but keep on your keep on track on your way to get out?
not dying. Like seriously, I mean, I know so many cats that was not even like doing the drug thing, not even, in gangs.
Yeah.
They were just like going to the store,
Mm-hmm.
buying a pizza, shot,
Yep.
dead. You know what I'm saying? My motivation was like, look, man, anybody knows me at the core of me, I'm a family guy, and I always want, like I said, I want to create my family.
Yeah.
And I didn't want my family to be in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be in the projects. Nothing wrong with the projects. Some of the best people I
Yeah.
know live,
Yep.
live in the projects. But just
That's how we
because
met. Mhm.
yeah, just because I don't want to be there doesn't mean I'm talking down. That's another thing. People feel like because you want to elevate something, you automatically putting something else down. No, because I want to have steak doesn't mean you should eat it if you don't want it.
Yeah.
So my motivation was simply not getting caught up in a drive-by accident,
Yeah.
or somebody be hanging out in the park, just doing normal things
Mm-hmm.
and winding up a statistic or winding up my life is cut down or paralyzed or beat up because somebody, got a little bit too drunk and you laughing and they're like,
Yeah.
what you looking at?
Yeah. No, it's so true. Used to hang out with us in our house, and we would be. I mean, it would be. It's back in the days. We was like, "Oh, that's gay," but we would be worried that when you would leave our house to go back to your house because it was late
Yeah,
at night,
yeah.
that just to go, and your block was hotter than ours at one point. That like just to get there safe, and I'm like, "Yo, Greg, text us or call us when you're
We're
there
calling when we
safe."
get home.
Yeah, he was like, "I'll be all right. I got this little thing in my pocket, and I know how to run." So,
I keep
um,
me a knife.
yeah, so it's true. Like that's trauma that we had to live with in our
Listen,
environment.
I'll put it to you like this, right? This is a true story. I went to IS 292 middle school. I know everybody in my neighborhood. Okay, this is not an exaggeration. It's
Mhm.
just a couple of blocks. I know everybody that grew up there. I'm coming home. It's me, my friend Daniel, Demaine, and Curtis. We're walking down the street under the three train line, coming from the school, and I'm getting ready to turn down Williams.
Mhm.
These guys jump out to rob us. they 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 look like they could be us, but our age.
Yeah.
So, but you're scared. Somebody pull out a knife. Somebody, it's a lot of them surrounding
Yeah.
you. You don't know what to do. Curtis, he just kept walking, hide behind the poles, and was gone, safe.
Mhm.
The main took off. I'm by myself.
Damn.
Daniel made it home. I'm by myself. I'm getting ready to roll. We getting ready to fight because I'm not going to just get beat up and robbed. You can
Yeah.
rob me, but you're not going to just beat me up too.
Yeah.
So out of nowhere, my friend Jerome came down the street. We started tussling together. He was helping me.
Mm.
And come to find out, when I get the guy on the ground, pull his hood off, I know his whole name, his mama, and his grandmama. And you know what I told him? I said, "Yo, I'm telling your mother." His name was Nicholas. I'll never forget
Oh
it.
my god.
Told his mother, I went right to his house. Your son just tried to rob me. Told his grandmother too.
Yeah.
Listen, I said, I was at your family barbecue. Was at the barbecue.
Oh my god.
Motivation. That's it. Because you know
Yeah.
why? It put a mentality in people. No matter who it is, I need what you got. So
Yeah.
if I gotta take it, I'm gonna take it. I don't care if I know you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if this is a person that could sit at their kitchen table with their grandmother, can
Mm-hmm.
rob me, then what am I? I'm not. Listen, I'm nothing here. So I got to get
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
So that's why I started hanging out in the city.
Mm.
That's why I started going, take that train, the L train, get up
Yeah.
14th Street, and just walk around. I don't know where I'm at. I listen. I'm just getting out of here. I'm just going
Yeah.
somewhere else, meet some new
Yes.
people,
Yeah.
and that's how I started going around, learning Manhattan. Then learn. Okay, you don't want to go to West Fourth at this time. Okay, you can
Yeah.
go at regular time because
Yeah.
I
You
at
was
that
our
time.
map, man. You was like our guide with all that stuff and just taking us and showing us this other world. And it was just like it was like I said before, it was like so refreshing to see, man. Like you just it's like almost like you had a plan, but there really wasn't a plan. The
No,
plan,
no
it,
plan.
it was just like, I'm going, I'm gonna like, we'll figure it out. But on the
On the
outside,
way
it
there.
felt like, man, it seemed like Greg has it all together. And just to hear you was like, man, I had the basics and I just figured out the rest. You
That's
know,
it.
um, I wanted to ask you too, like, you know, you had so many layers of yourself, and at one point, and I didn't know this, and I wanted to touch on it. Like one day, I just see a video and you're a preacher. And I'm like, where the fuck? How the fuck? This guy never spoke about God when we was younger. Like, I like, where did this thing? And then I was like, is this one of those scams Greg's trying to get money for? I'm like,
And if you
but
just buy the secret
yeah,
water,
it was like, hey, my name
but
is Gregory Anderson. You can take this holy water and all that arthritis pain can go away. Like, so
right here, this last drop,
I
the 10
but
easy payments of 99.
but you can give me 20, we call it flat, we go about our own way.
Brother, excuse me, brother. I need just $20 for some gas.
And I remember to this day, I saw this video and it's you preaching, and there was so much passion, and there was this feeling of just feeling the one that was like, there goes Greg again, reinventing himself. That's what I said to myself. And then it was like, wow, like so proud of this dude. Like, you know, I said, and then I was like, I don't even know this side of him. And I was like, holy shit. But I was like, and then another part of me was like, well, if he's happy doing it, I'm happy for him, you know? Because I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual, but I respect, what you do and what you believe in. But I was so shocked and so amazed to see that side of you. And I was like, man, a part of me is like, I never knew that. So I guess I want to, not guess, but I want to ask, how important, how did religion play a big part in your life? And how did you take those steps to
Oh
be
man,
a preacher and then share with the world? Because at one point I felt like it was just between you and your God,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm gonna just do everybody, then I'm gonna have a fucking church, then I'm gonna preach, then I'm gonna have a band. I was like, God damn, like, so take us to like where religion
So
was so important to you, and then what made you want become a preacher.
so here it is. All of my life, I've been in the church. It was a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
My mother required us to go. And then one day she was like, "You guys go on your own," and I was nervous because that wasn't normal. I never forget it. She was like, "No, we're not going," and I'm like, "What?" So I got dressed anyway. I got dressed anyway. Like I'm going to church. This is what we do. And I went out and nobody in the house got dressed. So I got dressed to go outside. She said I can go outside. I went outside and it was boring. It was Sunday,
Mm.
nobody was out. I was like, what is going on? And my little kid mind still, I didn't recognize that nobody does anything on Sunday. So I thought God was punishing me.
Mm.
So I went back home and then I started like, you know, finding churches to just hang out, go see and be a part. And when I was 17, I became an ordained minister. Um, and a lot of that stuff, I struggled with because I didn't have a balance.
Mm.
Because the way you're taught certain things, don't do, and it's like
Yes.
this doesn't make any sense sometimes. And so when I found my wife, and we were going around, and I was preaching all up the East Coast, Baltimore, Maryland, up and down the Bible Beltway, what they call it. I was having a very good time. I love it. I still do to this day, things of that nature. Um, what what called me to really take it more serious was my own development and who I learned God to be.
Mm.
Um, and even so now, more so now than ever, like right now in this moment as we're talking,
Yeah.
has really reformed what I feel traditional, what they call religion. I don't really have a
Yeah.
religion. Um, I have a relationship with God. It's a
Mm.
difference. Um, so so those videos and things like that, it's nothing to take nothing away from it. I still believe those things.
Yeah.
Um, but in the way I deliver now, it's not in the way that I did,
That they
if that makes
wanted,
sense.
yeah, if that,
Yeah,
not
and
the way
that's
that they wanted you to do it, and also
yeah,
I more say trained to be. You
yeah,
found
it's like
your voice and relationship and how you want to deliver the message, and with your relationship with your God.
and how the proper way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because so, don't get me wrong, I still like to holler and
Yeah.
scream and shout and have the vigor and all those
Yeah.
things, but I'm more so now impressed with being what it is than with looking like what it is.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? There's a
And I think that's more effective because the people that you touch, my life included, it wasn't you putting on the show. What affected us and what affected other people was you being you. So whatever
yeah,
came out of your mouth, it came from how you wanted to deliver it. So that makes sense. I made a lot of
yeah,
sense.
yeah, because see, like there's a portion of scripture that says uh that you basically you look like the part, you have a form of godliness, but you're really denying the power of God. You really don't have it. You look like the part. Like we talk about that
Yeah.
guy. If you could just have this water, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's like, "Oh, I feel power," and
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you can have that, and that's gratifying
Yeah.
to your psyche and to your personality, your ego. But then when all of that is over,
Yeah.
when the organ is not playing, when the crowd is not saying "Go ahead" and all this,
Mm-hmm.
when all that is subsiding, what is really the substance of you? And what connection to that God that you were just screaming about are you having? And
Yeah.
what is it that the people are receiving? Are they
Yeah.
receiving your performance of what you said, or are they receiving exactly who God is? You know what I'm saying? And that is so important, more important to me now than it ever was before. And so my passion for God and for the love of God and for people drove me to that avenue because if I'm pretty sure you can always you guys told
Yeah.
me this. All of my friends tell me you have so many metaphors. You speak of so
Mm-hmm.
many, but that's just how I am. It's not something I did,
Yeah.
purposefully. It just comes, and I feel like that's the essence of God speaks regular. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't have to have this, personality or this,
Yeah.
closed in thing. And I feel like a lot of traditional church and traditional leadership in that way people get boxed into this image, and what actually happens is they're so boxed into this image that they're forced almost to be sneaky and not be real. And then when something happens in their life, it's so magnified and so nasty because they had the persona on, they had their mask on, they had the
Mm-hmm.
the spokesperson out, and not really being able to be genuine. And I feel like people put people in those kind of categories and box them into this one personality, and I'm not that. I can't be.
What was so challenging for you to? Well, you touched on it, so I probably. Well, no, you touched on it from the outside world, but what was challenging for you to build that relationship with your God, you and Him, that connection? And this two-part question: What was What was something challenging that got in the way of you trying to build that relationship between you and the God that you believe in, your own personal relationship, and then also, what did you learn by building that relationship about yourself? What was so important about that?
Number one thing, I love people. That's my challenge. That's something that was very hurting to me. I love people. I love making people happy. I love having a good time. So it kind of hindered me because when somebody wasn't pleased with what I was saying or what I was doing, I would just do whatever I needed to do to just
Yeah.
make that individual feel good for a minute. But then I have 16 other people that I'm
Mm-hmm.
adjusting for. constantly adjusting,
Mm,
and I'm leaving my relationship with God to the back burner because I am just focusing on shifting for whoever I'm in front of.
yeah.
You know,
So
whatever
how did
this
you
thing
find your
is.
way now to center yourself
Well,
between
I
you and God?
didn't. What happened was God make a way. God just started ripping things away where I had no crutches to hold prop me up on. He ripped to the studs, and either I was going to cave or become who I need to be. And
Mm,
so what I did was, when God gave me a way out, I took it. I didn't care how it looked. I
mm.
didn't care what people said. I don't care what people thought, because at the end of the day, I have to live what I know is right for me and for those that are directly affected by the decisions I make.
So you took the collection plate and you ran with it. No, no, no,
I
no, no,
put it in my back pocket. Now I'm just playing.
no.
You know what I'm saying? I left. I moved to North Carolina,
Yeah.
and me and my son, we really be just kind of like laid low, even to this point. Me even getting back into doing like my own podcast show called Faith Under Construction,
Mhm.
getting those things back together, understanding who God is, not this mythical creature or this, angry parent, but this loving person that will make you be better. And actually self-awareness, you know what I'm saying? It's self-awareness is so important to be anything in life, because if you're not, everybody will tell you who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to use your mind. And if you don't use your mind, somebody else will
Mhm.
use your mind. You know what I mean? So you have to really understand it. So what I started doing is taking time out, setting my time for my own meditation, my own prayer with
Mhm.
God, and developing that communication with God, and kind of not just me just doing all the talking, but like literally telling him what I feel, what I'm going through, and being quiet and really listening to hear an answer, you know, and then acting on the answer that I'm hearing, and not apologizing for it,
Yeah.
not second guessing, because God is not a God of extremes. He's not, don't do this all the time and do this all the time. It's a balance. Teaching is balance. And that's what God is. He's a teacher, and teachers are balanced. And
Mhm.
we need to have a balanced mind, a balanced life. And so, what I do is I really search the scriptures. Put them in a practical place in my life, and I execute it to the best of my abilities.
Mm.
And those that want to hear my conversation or my take, they, gravitate. And those
Mhm.
that don't, God bless you.
Are
Just
you like hard on yourself? Because I feel like you're a jack of all trades, and there's many things that went wrong, but there's many things that went right. And I feel like you hit many a lot of us hit many potholes in your life where, one moment you're living here, one moment you're living there. And I just, from the outside looking in, I feel like, man, Greg is like, seems like he's all over the place. Like he's searching, he's finding, or, he's just being Greg. And, in those moments from where probably it felt like that for you, what helped you in those moments to continue to find your way, to know that maybe this in the end find out like, well, this was only a moment, this was only a journey that was so only supposed to last this long, and of course, like you said, you are afraid sometimes. Like what helped you to navigate through those systems, besides of course listen to the message and to your spirit and God, but what really helped you, Greg, to pull yourself out of those situations and feel like, hey, it's okay to start over again.
the fact that, oh, look at that, I got it juicy. The fact that, like I said before, when you have nothing,
Mm,
what is else there to lose? When you feel like, everything around you is crumbling, the worst thing that can happen is somebody going to talk about you. And I've learned a lesson that people are going to throw some dirt on you when you're living. They're going to throw some dirt on you when you're dead.
mm,
So no matter what you do, there's going to be somebody to say, whatever.
yep.
But that's only going to last but a minute. It don't
Mm,
last forever. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't last forever. You don't know it in that moment. It feels like, oh my
yeah.
God, this turmoil is never going to end. And so, you can either do two things. I never was one to subscribe to a pity party.
Mm.
I'm not going to complain. I'm If you hear me complaining, there's something that I just don't. I'm over. I don't know.
Mhm.
So if you ever hear me like, oh my God, man, this, that, third, it got to be something I couldn't really do,
Right.
because
You
I'm not a
couldn't.
complainer.
Yeah. Yeah. You
I'm not gonna.
you didn't figure it out yet or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain about the cards I was dealt. I'm not gonna complain about the position that I was in. I'm not gonna complain about my upbringing. None of that stuff matters. You know what I'm saying? You ask, was I hard on myself? Yes, I'm my biggest critic. See, that's another thing people fail to realize. There's nothing you can say or anybody can say about me or to me that I haven't already said to myself.
Mm.
And so you're not gonna punish me or hurt me more than I already thought of my own.
Yeah.
And so why would I give you that opportunity to continue to see me in a downward spiral? You won't get that privilege.
Mm.
You get the nosebleed section, and I'm gonna work with what I got. And by the time you get ready to get a front row seat, I'll be on another stage.
Yeah.
I'll be doing something completely different. Or I'll be doing what I need to do, and you won't even know that I'm
Yeah.
doing it, because I don't give people access to me that don't earn it.
Mm.
That's another big thing. You got people that meet people and like, oh, that's so amazing, and they just start divulging themselves. No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't do that to anybody. You know, we gotta build something before you get to, you know, look inside my soul or my heart, or be me to be vulnerable to you.
Hmm.
So what got
Yeah.
me through those times was just simply knowing that I can make it. God don't make no junk, and so I ain't junk.
Mm.
Yeah, this is not the end of me. It may feel like it, and sometimes in those moments, I really didn't know how I was gonna make it. I'm, oh my God, it feel like you got so much time behind you. You wasted so
Hmm.
much time, and if you allow yourself to think those thoughts, really, it becomes like your reality. So I had to check my stinking thinking and
Hmm.
like reverse those things, and that was only through the Word of God, only through understanding who God is for me,
Mm.
and like really like going to those private places of prayer and fasting, crying, writing. Oh my
Mm.
goodness, writing it out. Okay, this is what I want to do. Okay, I want to create this, because I've always been a creator.
Yeah.
I've always created my own job. I created my own thing. So to have to like now, I got to go trade my time for money. I got to do this. It was like crazy, especially growing up, because you had it in your mind.
Yeah.
Oh, at this age, I'm gonna be this. I'm be.
Yeah.
And you ain't gonna be any of those things if you don't put the
Yeah.
if you don't put the work in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was
How was
crazy.
it becoming a father? What did you
Oh
learn
my God.
about that? Being a
You
father
know,
now, adding another layer and having a fucking human you're responsible for. How has
brother.
that shaped your life for you, and also learning what has he taught you?
That's the best thing you said to me all night. He has taught me so much. That little boy, he's 10 years old now, my son. Uh, Having a son, I'm not saying nothing wrong with a daughter, but I'm talking about
Yeah.
for a man, having a son is a pure mirror experience,
Mm-hmm.
because everything you don't like about yourself, you will fight like hell not for it to be in your child.
Yep.
Insecurities,
Yeah.
all these different things. And I would talk to him. This is a lot of things. Oh, this is a lot of things that even in those other dark times when I had him with me,
Mm.
what got me through these times, because I would be talking to him like, Gregory, don't do X, Y, and Z. And right back as I'm saying it to him, God would say to me, and that's what I need you to do.
Mm.
Like literally,
Yeah.
literally, I would say, now, sometimes the answer is no, Gregory. And God will say, exactly. Sometimes the answer is no. Do
Mm.
something else. Holy crap.
Mm.
And you start like kind
You
of
be like, shut the fuck
parenting.
up. I ain't talking to you right now. Get out my damn head.
Well, but it's like talking to
Yeah.
him. You're kind of parenting yourself through your
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
because now they're looking at you. Being you have to be consistent. You
Hmm.
said you're gonna do this and you don't do it. It's over.
Yeah.
Not because not because he's gonna be disappointed, but because now what you just told your son, I can start things and not finish it. I teach my son lessons that I learned from my brother, but lessons that I learned as I was growing up with him.
Mm.
You know, one another lesson I say, you know, quitting is easy to do, but hard to stop.
Mm.
Once you allow yourself to quit, you develop that habit. Just give it up. I don't care. I put it to the side. You don't get back to it, and it'll be 30 years, and that thing will be sitting there collecting 30 years worth of dust and dirt, and you didn't deal with it. And now you're trying to get into a relationship with a person, and they got stuff they need to deal with, and you got stuff you need to deal with, and then things catastrophically explode, and you want to know why.
Mm.
So becoming a father was very in a mirror moment. It was really self-reflecting, trying to, teach my son everything I know is right, and actually growing up and maturing more with him than anything in my life.
Mm.
And I tell him as such. I tell him, listen, help Daddy become a better man,
Mm.
because if you thought I was humble before and would get my hands dirty, brother, man, I'll be outside. Man, I'll
Yeah.
$50. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
got to do what you got to do. That's not just being funny.
Yeah, man.
The
I
people that's
always
going to
felt
go
like,
crazy.
yeah, man. I always felt like you was, like I said, you was always like a jack of all trades, and you wasn't afraid to be different. You wasn't on the outside, right? You probably had the fears, but just on the outside, it's like you wasn't afraid to be different. You wasn't afraid to be wrong. You wasn't afraid to find your way. And even though you was deep down afraid, and on the outside to us, it didn't seem like that. What
Yeah,
I
because
admired is that you just kept going and kept figuring it out and just didn't give up, and continue to learn the different Gregories and the different years,
yeah,
because even right now you're learning, right? And you continue to learn from your son. You guys learn from each other. Now you're about to have another child, and that child's going to teach you other things that this
you
child
ain't lying.
didn't teach you about, that this child didn't teach you yet. So, and then being a husband, I'm sure that taught you things about yourself, because prior
Jesus Christ on the
to
night.
the Greg that I knew before getting involved in marriage, Greg was a different Greg. You know what I'm saying? Greg
You
was
ain't
like me
lying.
at one point. We was having our fun, and we was gentlemen and we did what we had to do. But, that was a journey for us, until finding
Yeah,
that person. Um,
man, I could say this. Like, first of all, like fear is just weakness coming out of you. You got to stop that. Push that fear out. Because like I said, even though you're afraid and you may have those things, like like even in high school, I got to do James Brown, best time of my life.
mhm.
People are like, oh, you're gonna do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got to go around, and I was got to sing "Get on the Good Foot," and
Yes.
and we got to play like with Kimberly Amante. She was playing the baritone saxophone,
Mhm.
and we were jamming. I remember y'all make fun of me. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da. you know,
Yo, man.
but
Yeah. We,
but I got to do that. I mean, even to the point where like Mr. Evans with me and him are still tight to this day. Um, he was like, Gregory, you know what you should do? You should talk to all the principals, and when they have a assembly, won't you get your ensemble and y'all play, some ambience music while the kids
mm,
is coming in. I was like, that's a good idea.
mm.
I went to all the principals and I got it done. Every assembly. So now where I had to be in class, I was excused to be out there playing music. And it was all things that came out of my mind. And I remember John wanted to be in the band so bad. Hey, let me play that saxophone. Get out of here, John. You
Yeah.
can't, but that was, I didn't know how I was gonna do it. I didn't know, okay, interlude changes and fading out. I
Yeah.
learned all that stuff.
Mm.
Conducting a band in high school. What am I doing? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing, but I figured it out. You know what I'm saying?
To this day,
Timing.
every time I think of Mr. Evans, to this day, I just think of that. He's dope, but I never had like a relationship with him. I really never sat down with him and chat, but I remember he liked one of my hats that I wore. It was like a little Kango hat thing. But anyway,
Yeah. That's sharp. That's sharp.
yeah, yep. I remember he was like, there was this kid, this short Puerto Rican
Yeah,
kid,
yeah.
and he had his
Crazy legs.
he had his foot on the fucking table or some shit. He's like, he was like, get your damn foot off that table. It was random. It was random.
Because we were backstage. Everybody was getting ready to perform.
Oh my god!
And the kid was kicking the table. Bagada, bagada. He was his talent was crazy legs. He was just, and Mr. Evans said, "Get that off the table like that." Oh, and everybody fell out. It was hilarious.
Oh, so good. I mean, even like you was like a entrepreneur, but you was like you always once again you found a way. I remember like, you know, because listen, people at high school at that time, whoever joined band, they was like nerds, right? And it wasn't cool. And I was like, I remember you was like, you said you was doing it. I was like, Greg, come on. Why? Come on. You don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. It was like, why not, bro? One, there's chicks there. That's one. Two, and it's we're around instruments. And then three, we get to learn music for free. Sounds like it's good to me. I was like, but if you want to go home and watch ESPN and eat your sandwich that your mom makes you, go ahead. I'll just see you on the weekends. And we could play music then. I was like, I'll do that. But on the outside looking in, that was very beneficial for you. It could have been beneficial for me too if I went and actually did it. I was just lazy. But, you know, I took that time to actually just play in the house. But you had a different path. It was like, I'm going to just keep on doing what I'm doing. And it was very beneficial to you, you know?
Yeah, I learned how to read music, bro. You know, I can
just the experience. It gave you experiences, you know, and put you there.
Took me to Albany, met the governor. I went to Monsalis. I got to play in the private session with him, me and Miss Amante, and I got to play guitar in his band. That was dope. You couldn't tell me I wasn't getting ready to take off in the world, brother.
Yeah. I wasn't there yet. I was like, I'm just gonna practice in the house and keep doing it. And just, I mean, I had my own path with that. And it's funny because you had a different thing too, man. And
you couldn't tell me. I was like, oh, but you know what? I got to meet Wynton Marsalis, and I didn't stay in contact with him, but Kimberly and Monte did. Followed him around. Yeah. Went on tour.
How she's doing? Do you know?
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
What was her name? Kimberly what?
Amante.
I'm gonna see if I can find her on Facebook.
She's last time I know she was riding a motorcycle. She got a motorcycle license.
So how long was that? Like many years ago?
I don't know. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Oh, he said that's the marriage talk. I to be honest, I don't know.
Nah. All jokes aside, I really don't know. We have spoke like way long ago.
Yeah.
Before me and my wife ever got together.
I know. You can. It's all right. You can say a little louder. She heard you. This was a long time ago.
Wait. Hey, now let me tell you, it was never happened before.
I heard that she probably, God forbid, died, but I hope there's no way I've been in contact with her. No way.
Not beyond the grave. No, but when me and Janera broke up, that's the last time me and Kim had spoken.
Yeah.
But I know she was riding motorcycles. She got a license, so that she did a city corps. She was in Washington. She did a lot of stuff, man. Traveled the world. And that was all through music. So,
Greg, we're almost done with this segment, and then afterwards we can talk a little bit more. But we're almost done with this whole interview. The last thing that we normally do with people, we have this thing called the segment called "Let's Look Inside." It's like some life cards, and on the life cards, I've been shuffling it, and I just pick one. It's like 2 questions on there, and then I'll ask you them, and then you answer it.
Cool.
What social issues fire you up?
Woo! brother. Once again, you
Mm.
got no time for this. A lot. Number one, I don't agree with Black History Month.
Mm,
So Black history is American history. So
mm,
let's deal with that.
mm,
A lot of social injustice. I hate that, man. The Me Too movement pisses me off.
yeah.
And I say that not despairing women, not saying women don't have the right to have wages. I'm just saying Hispanic women and Black women have always worked side by side by their men, and we have never had problems in our community with our women jockeying for positions or wanting great positions. That's never been our women fight. That's my opinion,
Mm.
not the opinion of the podcast. I feel like as people of color, we get roped into these political battles that we don't get any um, we don't get any benefit out of it. We get stuck in the deal.
Yeah.
So those are the biggest things.
Yeah.
Social injustice. I don't like it. Oh, it grinds my gears.
The second one is, when do you feel most alive?
Oh man, I feel most alive when I'm teaching, when
Mm,
I'm speaking, singing, playing, anything that creative, or my most my love, my one of my other greatest passion. I just figure out flying kites. I love flying
oh
kites.
wow.
I love flying kites. I can fly a kite for hours, as long as the wind is good. I
Mm.
love flying kites. So I'm at my freest and my when I'm most expressive.